Well, I just wanted to follow up on your Colts, Rod. The Colts had 43 plays in the first half. The Dolphins had 43 yards in the first half. And I thought that these two teams, it was ironic that these two teams, the schedule makers had them playing against each other, because I thought they were the two most highly variant teams on the season. And one pro for the Colts going into this year was, I think the defense could be a lot better than what we had with the Colts in previous years because of Gus Bradley. Gus Bradley just was not a aggressive defensive coordinator, and this was the first team since 1977 to score on every single drive. So the Colts had very long sustained drives. Now that stat is a little misleading because there's been some teams that have scored a lot and then have taken a kneel down at the end of the half or end of the games. That didn't happen with the Colts, but still, just for the Indianapolis Colts to score on all 7 drives was awesome. We'll have to see how it plays over with. I mean, Miami might be historically bad. Tyreek is still in the news today for another bad thing. Yeah. So, Miami just might be a train wreck, but the Colts might actually be good. Like, two things can actually be true at the same time. So we'll see how the Colts. I want to see how the Colts play this week against a really good defense. Danny Dimes has had problems with pressure when he gets pressured in the pocket in his past. And nobody is going to bring more pressure than the Denver Broncos. So, but I was impressed with what I saw from the Colts.
Listen, that's wonderful. I'm not going to let Chris paint me into a corner of saying that I'm anti-Colts and that I'm wishing for the Colts to fail this year, right? That is not the point that I made. People that listen to the podcast understand what I was talking about. I was just disappointed.
People who listen to the podcast remember you pontificating about jumping onto the Bears. All hail Ben Johnson. That's what we heard.
It's exciting. They seem to have a plan. They seem to have young guys ready to try to do something. The Colts are going nowhere with Danny Dimes.
Yeah,
but listen, I'm eating my words.
It's Lord and
Jimmy,
Savior
who
Ben
would have
Johnson,
had who would have had you picking Danny Dimes as face of the week? Come on, who would have had that? I mean, Williams, you're an odds guy. The odds of that at the beginning of the year, come on, that'd be like 500 to 1.
Rod, you're not thinking third dimensionally. This is the first year in the last 3 years I have not had season tickets to the Colts. Of course they're going to be good. Of course they're going to be good. See, you got to think about this, guys.
Third dimensionally, Jimmy, you're so right. I'm sorry I didn't go third dimensionally. All right, and now that there's only one other team that we touch on this podcast, and Chris, I gotta say what Williams just did there. He propped up the Colts a little bit. I was impressed by your Cowboys. They showed a lot more fight than I thought they were going to show. Dak Prescott impressed me again, showing me that, hey, people sometimes want to put the guy down, and he does have a tendency to get hurt, and I'm not sure that that's really his fault, but when he's out there and he's got guys, he's going to do some things.
Yeah, the offense has talent, right? Part of me wonders was this better at a Dallas team than what most people thought, or is this just the Eagles regressing back to average a little bit? Because I don't know necessarily. I will say one thing, though. The Cowboys look like a more composed and disciplined team that night than the Eagles did. We only had 4 penalties. That is not typical of the Cowboys in game 1 of the NFL season. So I saw a whole bunch of positives, even though we lost.